Do it. Do it.
Let's do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. My sweetie, do it.
Okay.
Do it. Do
Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at NBNRPodcast.com.
We have the saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Utter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me. He's like, you know what you just did?
You get mad when you go get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Dang on it, Muhammad!
GBR. Audio is on. Everything's good.
Everything's good.
Go big red indeed. No block, no rock. Season 4, episode 47, coming at you from the NBNR studio. Whoop. First things first. Our sponsor, Nebraska Brewing Company. I am drinking. Let me hold it up. Squeeze the day. Ever since the College World Series has ended, the weather in Nebraska has been very pleasant.
Even for a ginger, huh?
Even for me.
Go out in the sun, no towel over the neck.
I'm outside for longer than 5 minutes.
Oh,
And it's been a nice summer that way, you know? I'm outside, I'm out of school. I'd like to be outside every once in a while. Most summers I can't do that.
How much sunscreen do you eat before you go outside?
I probably shouldn't be saying this, but fucking zero. But that's because, like you said, I have like a towel around my neck and that's usually good enough. The towel is a freaking godsend, I'm telling you. Anyway, squeeze the day from Nebraska Brewing Company. Mike, what you got?
We are back on the EOS Hefeweizen. They are cold in the fridge today, so why not have one? We've been drinking pretty much most of the day, so I figured might as well just keep on riding that wave.
Well,
Connor, what do you got?
The drunk wave?
Mike, I want to ask, why were you drinking most of the day? What were you doing?
They were going to get into that whole thing.
We're going to get into that,
Yeah,
but
okay.
we were golfing for Team Jack and the Team Jack golf outing, and Kyle and I had a couple cold ones on the course with some good peeps, and yeah. But
Yeah, I'll let you get into that more when you guys get into it, because I from what I've seen, you golfed like shit. But
I'm sure they have excuses galore.
I'm sure they do. For everyone that knows, when they watch this show, they know I'm drinking a Pilsner. Today, I'm drinking an Ailstorm. A, because I think it's a great beer. It is. Sure. It's a great beer. Yeah. B, because we don't have any Pilsner in the fridge.
Party foul.
Yeah,
pod foul.
It's a two-parter. But Ailstorm, great. It's a summer beer. It's a baseball beer. That's what I'm doing today. Kyle, what do you got?
Yeah, so I picked up the EOS Hefeweizen from the fridge over there because it pairs very nicely with the Caddyshack barbecue chicken pizza that we picked up. Our neighbors were gracious enough to hook us up with a pizza. So I don't want to say like EOS is like a sweet beer, but it's not like bitter. It's not, it doesn't hit hard. It's like
it's sweeter than most.
it's sweeter. It pairs well with barbecue chicken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so that's what I'm rocking with today because I had plenty of summer shandies.
Yeah,
today.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Caddyshack is on 180th in Harrison out here. So make sure you guys go check them out. They have really good food, drink specials, all that fun stuff. So shout out to Caddyshack.
We'll get into your whole thing today. Team Jack golf thing. So, I hate golf, for the record.
You're wrong.
I revel in being wrong. I love being wrong. If
Jared.
loving golf is wrong,
Here, Jared. That's for you.
Get into it. Get into why you suck today.
We had the opportunity through Hurrdat to go play golf in the Team Jack.
It's the Team Jack Foundation Golf Classic.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's the name. So, and today we played with former Husker Pierre Allen. So that was really cool. I think it sounds like he's going to come on the pod here in the near future. And then we golfed with a friend of the program, Chris Schmidt, who had a broken ankle today. He played in a walking boot the entire round.
A busted wheel, huh?
I want to point out that that's the absolute most dog shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like, yeah, I got a broken ankle. We're still going to play.
Yeah. Okay. Certified dog by Schmitty. Okay. He said he broke his ankle 2 days ago, had his leg hanging out the cart. It caught like a ledge or something and
snapped it.
Wait, he broke it golfing?
He broke it golfing.
And then he said, you know what? I'm still going to golf.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Certified dog.
Let's get something right here. He didn't break it while golfing.
Yes.
No. That's not. No.
What are you going to call
He's in the
this?
car.
He broke it while driving the cart golfing.
Yeah, that's still a golf.
Sorry, to me, when you're golfing, you're swinging a club, you're doing something golf related. Being in a cart is not golfing.
That might be
I think that's a bad take.
borderline klutzy, but you
Klutzy?
know, he did make an appearance, and he is on his way to Western Nebraska to go golf in Gothenburg right now.
Dog,
So he's
going again.
He's going on a golf trip.
His other leg hanging out.
Yes,
That is a dog.
for those of you who are not familiar with Chris Schmidt, he does the radio show on Hail Varsity Radio
Free
on
plugs.
AM 590. It's one of the Hurrdat sister partners. So make sure you guys go check out their show. But yeah, Chris Schmidt had a broken ankle. Mike's golf game is just not up to par these days. And
Is
then
that a pun?
Pierre, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then
didn't know.
Pierre had never played golf before. He showed up with no golf clubs and was using our golf clubs.
Dog.
And I will say, by the end of
Dog.
the day, as for someone who's never swung, he is an athlete. He is a 6'5" former guy who played in the league a little bit, played for Nebraska, was a great defensive end,
Black shirt.
was a black shirt, or still is a black shirt. But yeah,
I have to ask Mike, because I've had the pleasure of golfing with you before.
yes.
Did you use more of his shots than yours?
No, we did not use a single Pierre shot. Maybe one.
No, we did use one.
One.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
He got it. He got it just over the green. And that was
we
better
used
than
my
most.
chips. Like I mean, like I said, chipping game's fine. Putting's fine. I putted 2 in.
Yeah.
Today, so
There you go.
that was fine. The short game's there. It's everything else.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of led the way on
Kyle
the drives.
carried the team, got us off tee box most of the time,
His
and,
back.
and his irons were on
I was
point.
flushing them.
I
today.
haven't seen him hit the irons like that ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was hitting
Well-
his irons extra far today.
You know Kyle's last name is hyphenated, right? It's Kyle Byers Woods.
Oh
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that 300-yard club in the bag.
Yes. So, anyways, it was an awesome outing. We got to meet Adrian Martinez today. Go run into a couple of the former players that we've had on the podcast. Brandon Raleigh drives a truck now. He got rid of his Porsche and bought a big truck.
Big truck guy.
He's a big truck guy, huh?
Yeah, big truck guy and a big driver guy because he won the long drive contest.
Ooh,
Sure
what was
did.
the distance?
294.
Yeah, 294.
My lord.
Yeah. And he also won the long drive, like the pin prize
Yeah, he
out on
won
the
that.
course.
Yeah, he cheated.
Yeah, for
Brandon,
sure.
we love you, but you cheated.
Yeah,
we all know
right.
you did.
So from a golf novice such as myself, or
Yes.
I say novice, hater, is just because you can drive a golf ball a long way, that doesn't necessarily mean you're good at golfing, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay, I
that's
just want
fair.
'cause, like, even I know that.
So
Just because
Nate-
you can
There's-
knock a anyway.
To put it in perspective, Nate Gary showed up last year with no shoes on, and he hit the longest drive.
Yeah.
And
So-
and he's not a great golfer.
I see.
Yeah. There's different phases to golf. You have your drive, and you have your mid range, your short game, and your putting.
Right.
So, like, being good at one of them does not make you a good golfer. Luckily for me, I'm not good at any.
Mhm.
So I don't have to ask myself those questions.
So, and just a fun note, Nate Gary was still without shoes this year.
He doesn't golf in shoes.
We ran into him on our way out to the parking lot and we were like, no shoes again this year. And he said, man, it's the only game I got. No shoes ever. And his feet were covered in an inch of mud. He's cruising through the parking
Oh,
lot on
yeah.
his golf cart.
I
The
almost
course is probably pretty wet, huh?
Yeah, it was awesome. It
I
was
will-
actually really nice.
I will tell you, have you ever golfed just barefoot?
No.
no.
It's liberating.
I bet.
I don't recommend it. It's
No.
pretty weird.
So are
but,
you
like,
saying-
it is liberating?
You're saying Nate Gary method to the madness then?
yeah, no, I will
Maybe
tell
Not just really drunk, right?
No,
or
like, I
whatever else.
I actually in
Vices.
like 3 weeks I go to a tournament every year in Minnesota. And every year we play that tournament, I play barefoot. Actually, most of us do. It's a long story, but I'll tell you, like, you don't play well, but it is liberating.
Do you play any different? So if you already don't play well, do you play worse, or do
You
you just still play the same way but with no
I
shoes on?
still play the same way.
Okay, yeah,
But I will say you definitely get less traction.
yeah.
Like,
Your feet are probably slipping a little bit.
yeah.
In the grass if it's wet.
Yeah, no, I
luck.
suck every day. I still enjoy it, but I still suck.
Yeah, that's how I felt today. So,
Okay.
yeah. So if you are not familiar with the Team Jack organization, make sure you guys go check them out at teamjack.org and donate to pediatric brain cancer. Someday there will be a cure, hopefully, with your dollars. So
Big golf pod today.
no,
Yeah.
now it's officially first time in honestly 2.5 weeks. We haven't really talked football. Like, so this is a football pod, and it's just us, no guests this week because we have some football shit to talk about.
Today. Well, hold on. Nebraska Brewing Company, world class.
In every glass.
All right. Now, today it was made official that 1890 is the NIL collective. It's official.
No shit.
Woo.
Like what?
Well-
why is that a thing? Like, duh.
When I saw that, I'm
Well-
like, don't wait. Was I sleeping for the past? What did I
2
miss?
years, 3 years. When Matt Rule's wearing 1890 hats, Troy Danon's wearing
Right.
1890 hats. Why is that breaking news? I don't get it.
I know it's just, and then people were like, because Trev didn't want to make it the thing.
Yeah.
He didn't want an 1890 to be the thing.
Well, to throw
So-
a wrench in the whole official announcement, there is a pretty large antitrust lawsuit going on for university NIL collectives right now. So while they might be official right now, things might be getting broken up in the next few years.
Well,
Yeah, that
So,
doesn't
I mean,
surprise
we're going
me.
to see how it plays out. Obviously, that's a very long-term thing, like 2 to 3 years. But
It's not even that really long term though. I mean, shit moves fast in this freaking business, especially with this whole NIL shit. Who knows?
And like collectives won't exist anymore because universities are
Yeah.
going to be able to compensate the student athletes now. So I would imagine that 1890 will go into more of a consulting role,
Yeah.
and help with NIL in that way.
Matt Davison in a smoky room.
Yeah, I think 1890 will still be going out there trying to get your dollars, like your boost your money.
Just
And-
funding it, the money will go to the university.
Yes, they will be paying 1890 through the university.
Listen, as long as Matt Davison is involved,
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Connor, you're
Things
supposed to
will be clean as day.
You're supposed to like go on a rage or something.
I don't know what you're referring to. I've never made any public comments about Matt Davis.
Matt Davidson,
Yeah.
whole different guy.
David.
Totally didn't make a awesome catch in Missouri.
Not once.
No.
Okay. We've got 2 comments in here.
Already.
Oh no.
We've
Let's
got 2
go.
comments in here. They say pretty much the same thing.
I love Matt Davidson.
Seth Jacob and Hokey Skur 19.
Hokey Skur. huh?
Hokey Skur.
Okay.
Who's going to be the one to say what really happened to Cooper?
Oh boy.
It
It ain't gonna be us.
I mean,
I mean, there are rumors out there. All you have to do is get on the Twitter sphere, and if you read those rumors, it's Nebraska Twitter. So take them how you feel.
Yeah, I think that's Mike. You said it in the best way possible. I think, again, it was in a separate message, but it was one of those things that like anyone with eyes and Twitter can see what's being said. We don't have the answers. We don't have what you want to hear. And even if we did, frankly, it's really not our business to be sharing. What I can tell you is he's gone.
boring.
What I can tell you is he's
Boring.
gone. And I can tell you that I am very excited for Coach Butler.
Yes.
I am.
Now, so was that Hokey Skur that asked that?
Yeah.
Hokey Skur.
Is that a Virginia Tech?
That's kind of what I was
fan?
wondering.
Heck, I have a soft spot for Virginia.
I
Tech,
know
so-
you do.
Okay, Hokey Skur. You have common sense. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know you that well. I think this might be the first time he's commented on one of our videos.
I've never seen it. So
Never heard that name.
yeah.
Just, hey, Hokey
We
Skur.
appreciate you being here.
Hokey Skur. Without saying what happened, or really even insinuating, just think for like 5 seconds. I mean, you're a guy, I'm a guy. We're all guys here. big guy pod here.
Big guy pod.
A lot of sausage in here. A lot of what? Anyway. 53 days until kickoff. And, we get a
54, I thought.
Go on Husker Max, it says 53.
Okay, then I can't count.
I know, it's okay. It's with the whole, depends on the time of the game and all that stuff.
Okay.
Sure.
Was it just Hookie Skir that asked about that, or what did
He said there were two that were
Yeah.
the same.
Seth Jacob also asked. He said, "Is someone going to be brave enough to say what happened to Coop?"
Are you asking us that because you secretly know it already and you want us to just say it? Is that why?
I think,
Answer that question.
I think all you have to do is get on the internet.
Yeah.
And obviously Husker rumors and stuff are rumors. But
Yeah.
sometimes there's smoke where there's fire.
Hey, I'll just say this, right? If I was accused of something and you guys fired me from NBNR.
Not fired. If you resign.
Oh, resign.
Yeah, you resign.
If you resign.
He was not
Thank
fired.
you. Thank you for that clarification. If I resign from NBNR, I would hope you guys wouldn't go talking about me without knowing for sure what happened.
Yeah.
You would extend me that courtesy, yes?
But
Yeah.
if we did know what happened, I'd tell you the next episode is all about you.
If Connor resigned, I'd be like, I'd have freaking flight logs on you, whatever the hell.
Flight log.
Flight logs. That's
Let's
right.
take it easy.
Yeah, that's
Let's
right.
take it
You
easy.
know what I'm saying.
So
It
it just sucks because Evan Cooper is literally Matt Rhule's guy. Like, that's his dude.
multiple times Matt Rhule has said, Evan Cooper is pretty much my right-hand man. He's my talent evaluator. He's my film expert. He's up at like 3 a.m. studying film on players.
Right.
And so it is very, I'm not going to say concerning because the news comes out on Friday and then right away, like
He's got a guy.
right away, he's got a guy.
It was not an accident that it happened so quickly. I think you'd be naive to think it was an accident. I think Matt Rhule knew what needed to be done and allowed for this little grace period, had the resignation, and already had his guy in the wings.
Yeah.
I think you'd be crazy to think
Did some
otherwise.
vetting.
Yeah, I think
Found out.
I think he had a couple weeks to find the guy that he was looking for. And I think Nebraska, they honestly got a little lucky that the guy that they stumbled upon in John Butler happened to be unemployed because he decided that he wanted to become the defensive coordinator for the Bills and he got passed up for that job. And he said, all right, well, I just think my time here's done. So he was just voluntarily unemployed. So everything just happened to work out really well for Matt Rhule.
So yeah, with the news about Cooper, of course, at first it was like, what the hell? This guy is supposed to be Rhule's guy, right?
Mhm.
Said it multiple times. And then the hire's made. And so there wasn't really any time for us to
Process.
come here and be like, oh, what happened? And like, besides those two asking us, it's like we haven't really thought about it because we have this guy now and we're doing our research on him. All right, what are the positives? What are the negatives? Like, we haven't really even thought about, oh crap, what did Coop do? It's like kind of on to the next.
We could talk about what did Coop do while he was here, and then if John Butler can fill those shoes.
So yeah, get into Evan Coop. Like,
I just
what are we
Cooper
gonna
or get into
miss?
Butler?
What are we gonna miss?
I think what you're going to miss immediately is that what we talk about all the time. This staff, they all sound the same, right? Coop has been there since day one. Matt Rhule's even said in some other press conferences that he hopes down the road that, Coop is the head coach in Nebraska, right? He's even used that as an example. Yikes, right? So I think you're going to lose that, the connection,
Continuity.
the continuity.
He's been with Rhule everywhere.
He's been with Rhule everywhere.
Yeah.
And he has essentially groomed him. If you look at his resume, it doesn't look like John Butler's resume.
Nope.
But Matt Rhule coached this guy and made him into who he is. So he's coached him, I think, as a player and as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to groom him as to be something bigger, maybe a DC someday or a head coach or whatever. So you're losing that a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree that the continuity is a big deal. Losing that, especially at like, we're in kind of a dead season right now, but especially like as the season looks, it's very much not. So bringing in Butler is going to be a big change as we are, a month and a half from the season. It'll be different. But again, you look at Butler as he comes in, you look at his resume at Penn State. He was regarded as one of the rising stars as a DB coach. Goes to the Texans, does fairly well.
I mean, he was the DC. He ended up finishing as the defensive coordinator at Penn State before he went to the Texans.
Yeah. I mean, he does well in Houston.
Yeah.
And then at Buffalo, he is, they say top 30%. There's no real direct ranking, but top 30% in the NFL. It's telling me you're either a top 10 or top 11 defensive backs coach. You're not losing anything in skill. I think the biggest part of it is that locker room presence from Cooper. I think that's the big part of it because those guys knew him. They were comfortable with him, and now they've got to kind of relearn that.
Again.
So,
a lot of these guys, again.
I think that's the biggest part that you're losing with Cooper resigning.
Yeah.
And so BA hops in and he says, Coach Cooper was much more important to the program than a DB coach, in my opinion. Bummer he's out. Says Coop is one of the best recruiters on staff, and he resonates with players so well. Mike is spot on, though. Rhule has groomed this dude to become a DC. And what I'll say, Mike, is you mentioned the alignment from the top to the bottom, and you're kind of going to miss some things there. But to be honest with you, I feel like under former head coach Scott, you would worry about you let somebody go, you bring somebody in. Is there going to be too many Indians in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a different vibe? What I say?
Too many Indians in the kitchen?
Oh, I got caught up. I got caught up on the Guardian Indian conversation last week.
That's fair.
Too many women in the kitchen. Too many chiefs in the tribe.
I mix cooks in the kitchen and whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
Too many wives in the kitchen. But
we knew what you meant.
He's a big fan of Indian food.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, I don't think you worry about that with Matt Rhule just because ultimately that message comes from the top. He leads from the top. And he,
Absolutely.
like you said, he's groomed everybody to say the same things. He's taught everybody this is how I roll. So honestly, I feel like I'm more comfortable with him doing a plug and play situation than I would anybody else.
So with Cooper, as a Husker fan that's been used and abused, such as myself and all of us, it's like you got Rhule that comes in, and Rhule's bread and butter, the thing that he's made his college coaching on, is the evaluation of lower tiered recruits, right? And so that was Cooper's job. That was his thing. And so I think Audi's going somewhere in terms of the coaching and the recruiting and the talent evaluation. And so I think with Butler, what you might be losing in the talent evaluation and the recruiting, you're gaining in actual coaching.
Yes.
I'm not saying Cooper was a bad coach.
No one is.
But he's inexperienced compared to a guy who's been in the NFL for 10 years.
Yeah, and it's funny because most of the guys that Rhule has hired, they're always the young up-and-comers, whereas this guy is
kind of a wily vet.
Seasoned.
I mean, he's 51, though. He's not even that old for coaching standards either.
51 is young in D1 coaching.
That's what I'm saying. Like, shit, Tom Brady retired at almost 50. So, like, this guy is not old, but I mean, you're right. He's not an up-and-coming. He's not Rob Dvorak or whatever. Yeah. He is a seasoned coach.
Yeah. So I guess that's opens another argument, Jared. I don't mean to interrupt you. Is would you rather on this staff right now, seeing where Nebraska has been for the past 8 years, would you rather have a guy that you would consider an up-and-comer or have that proven talent? For me, it's an easy decision. I want proven talent now. And then as the program develops and gets better and better, then you start recruiting these younger coaches and, getting them through this system. But I think right now for Nebraska, what you need is proven talent. And I think that's what Butler is.
Yeah. Like if you're a skeptic of Rhule, like at first you when it came to the hires, it was, oh God, he's hiring
His buddies.
Garrett McGuire.
these young guys.
Garrett McGuire was the big one.
Right. Yeah. And
Even Evan Cooper was like, "Oh, he's a young guy. Look at his record, like his track record.
there isn't one.
There isn't one. It
And
doesn't
so-
exist."
So yeah, it's like I said, that's kind of where the difference is there. Dang. I forget where I was
Yeah.
gonna go.
I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, Spencer Olson says, just tired of coaching changes every year. And
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
so
Dude,
with that.
tired
I'm
of the
so
bullshit.
with that.
We all are.
Yeah.
The revolving door sucks. The timing sucks because we just had the same shit happen last year with, what's his name? Tight end
Wager.
coach. Yeah, Bob Wager. So
Yeah.
it's just like, can we please just have an off season that's just no drama? We take care of business, and we're ready to fucking play football.
Well, yeah, and
Like,
okay,
what are we doing?
I know it's always just
always
some
something.
bullshit. And the thing that I guess if we're getting to things that encourage us, it's he was with the Bills for like 6 years.
Yeah.
If you have an NFL job for more than like 3 years,
Yeah.
it's like you must be doing something right.
Mhm.
And so, and of course, you hear about how when he left the Bills, it was all positive stuff, right? Freaking Bills players were talking this dude up, and there was no animosity, no ill will from top down. It was, no, this dude's a really good guy. And there was a lot of Bills players that were like, I kind of wanted him to be my DC. So I get why he is leaving. And so that's also another encouraging thing. He didn't leave based off some bullshit, so
Can I throw a wrench in things really quick?
please, I love
Oh, boy.
wrenches.
So we've got Bills players talking about how they want him as DC or would have wanted him as DC.
Right.
Why do you end up at Nebraska as a DB coach? Why is there not another D1 program that would be willing to take you in as a DC?
So
Maybe there's like, I'm probably looking at this in a very weird way,
Mhm.
but it feels like if he is that qualified, why here?
It's-
Why that?
so I
position?
can
It's
answer that
not
question.
weird. It's a healthy thing to question.
No,
Yeah.
I can answer that question. We were listening to the radio just like a little bit ago, and one of the guys came on that and was talking about the situation. He doesn't have an agent. And so when he withdrew from his position with Buffalo, he kind of bet on himself that there would be an opening somewhere. And it just never came open. Nothing came open. Like the right opportunity wasn't there. So I think with football kind of getting closer and closer, and that call just never came. The opportunity, maybe calls came, but just that opportunity never came. Now he's like, well, shit, I got to get a job somewhere, right? I think he still wants to coach. So
it wasn't a lack of interest.
no, it wasn't a lack of interest. I think it was like a guy that was betting on himself. And he is one of the few coaches out there that doesn't have an agent. So you weren't getting those back in like wheel and deal kind of things of, well, I got this guy that's, ready to go coach here or whatever. Like he's betting on himself, negotiating himself, trying to make the right deal. So I think it just happened to work out that this happened to open up at Nebraska, and Matt Rhule probably just went through his pool of guys that were available. And he's like, yep, that's the one I want.
I just the cynical, skeptical guy in me is kind of like, well, look, if he was, and I'm not saying he's not, I'm just saying, if he's like this great defensive mind, right?
Yep.
And you're a coach out there, and maybe you could use an upgrade in your DC, find a way to get this dude hired kind of thing, with, I know the whole agent thing. I just feel like in the whole world of sports that we've seen in the past decade, contracts don't mean shit. Agents, you can DM a coach and be like, hey, come coach for me. I just feel like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a good excuse because he didn't have an agent. I don't know.
We go back to, I don't remember who commented it, but Mike brought up the revolving door. I mean, with players and with coaches, that is the nature of college football now.
Yeah,
Everything is a
sucks.
revolving door.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you can say it sucks. That is what it is. So that's why I'm confused that a guy with this kind of resume ends up as a DB coach. I mean, obviously, Nebraska didn't need a new DC. Tony White, dog. But like,
That's the thing.
But that's the thing.
But
They
how
might
do you
need a
end
DC.
up Not yet. Well, and so I guess that's a larger question. Is do you think this is a play that if Nebraska's defense ends up? We already talked about. I believe Kyle brought it up a few weeks ago about how Nebraska's defense will likely regress over the season, not due to a regression in talent, but due to a harder schedule. And maybe Tony White leaves and gets a head coaching job. Is Butler being brought in as a DB coach as a potential DC replacement?
And that's something that Mike and I talked about on our way to the golf event this morning. And that was like, I trusted Matt Rhule. But I would certainly hope that there isn't a conversation where it's like, well, we might need a DC. So, hey, let's bring you in for the DB's coach position. And we'll get you into the DC spot when he leaves. And you start promising things to people and having conversations like that, whether that's players, coaches, it starts to build. You've got too many promises out. Yeah. There's a lot of things you got to keep up on.
I don't think it's a promise though. I think it was just if you look at what's going on in Nebraska and you look at Tony White, who potentially he's openly said he wants to become a head coach someday.
Sure.
And Matt Rhule has said he's going to become a head coach someday. It's one of those guys. He's been a defensive coordinator in the Big Ten. This will be now his third stint in the Big Ten. The guy's already been the CEO of a defense. So, I mean, it's not a hard sell to be like, hey, if this guy leaves, the opportunity could be there here, unlike it was in Buffalo.
There are two different ways you could look at that, right? You could look at it kind of like Kyle's way, where you're making these promises that might not come to fruition. But then, what if it does happen? What if Tony White does leave? Then it's Matt Rhule is a genius because he hired this guy and he had the foresight to recognize that he might need a defensive coordinator. So I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I feel like Nebraska still needs to prove itself defensively by being consistent, right? It's great that you're a top 15 last year and your defensive line looks really awesome. But that was playing shitty Big Ten offenses
all year.
Can you do a top 15, top 20 thing again? Be consistent. Because even if you do regress a little bit, Tony White's still going to probably leave. That's just kind of where I'm at as a fan. Is I'm assuming Tony White's gone. That's just me. I don't know about you guys.
Especially with this hire. I feel like that's almost, it makes it even more of a sure thing. I feel like hiring a coach like this that has the experience and the background that he does, it almost is I think Matt Rhule has pretty much said Tony White will be a head coach and I am ready for it. I am prepared for it.
I think without a massive regression in defense, if they finish top 30, I would be shocked if Tony White was still at Nebraska at the start of next season. I would be shocked.
I still wonder what job would be the right one though, because UCLA is alma mater. They hired somebody else, right? Syracuse, State. They hired someone else. San Diego State, they hired someone else. What job is? I guess there's jobs open every year. It's just I think it still has to be the right job because those jobs are good jobs, especially linked to Tony White. So if he didn't leave Nebraska for those ones, what job is he going to leave Nebraska for?
I don't know.
Mike, I think you made a really good point there, though. Job openings every year are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Tony White knows that next year there are going to be openings, and there might be a better. And, if he turned down Syracuse, San Diego State, all these others, he is looking for something that wasn't there. I think while USC is now a Big Ten team, I think he is looking for a power 2 coaching position. San Diego State and Syracuse just didn't fit that.
I don't want to get too huge into where's Tony White going to go.
Yeah.
But I will ask you guys, let's just assume that, oh my God, his name is so generic that I just forget it.
Yeah.
Butler.
Yeah.
John Butler.
Let's just assume John Butler does take over. 3-3-5 still? How does that work? What's the scheme? What's the is there continuity? Is it a complete?
I don't know. And that'd be something I'd like to research, or maybe if someone who's in the chat could do a little digging, but what type of defense did he run at Penn State? I will say that Tony White's defense is a multiple 3-3-5. Right. I know that coaching coaching the secondary shouldn't change too much. And you would think a guy that's seasoned like he is, I think he's very familiar with coaching the 3-3-5.
And of course, 3-3-5 is a catch-all umbrella
Yeah,
term.
Yeah, it's your
Sure.
base and everything
Yeah.
else. I mean, if you want all that stuff, go listen to Coach BA.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just based on Rhule and everything, and we talk about the same message and everything else, I think they'd be consistent at running the same defense.
Timmer. Rust and
Yeah.
Matt Rhule.
Timmer.
I guess like I kind of address this with the whole like talent evaluation of Cooper versus the coaching ability of holy shit Butler. God,
John Butler.
John Butler.
JB.
It's
if
like
you will.
it's like Billy Butler, but John.
Stop.
Now you won't forget it though.
Fucking Royals.
Now you won't forget.
Okay,
it.
stop. Now, because now you got me all flustered. Billy Butler. Cardinals killer. People are like a little skeptical, right? Because how good at recruiting is this Butler guy, right? And here's where I'm at. It's 2024. If you coach good, you'll win more. If you win more, you'll have better players that want to come.
And recruiting gets easier.
So, like, as good as Cooper was at talent evaluation, hopefully Butler can make up for that with his coaching ability and lead to actual wins. Because how long have we talked about this guy's a good recruiter? This guy gets good players in here. This guy's a 4-star, etc. But it doesn't translate to dubs.
Yeah.
So can he just be a very good coach? And then the good players will come as a result.
I mean, look at everything you've seen since Matt Rhule's been here and all of his assistant coaches. It doesn't seem like they're super suave and like, you know, they don't have this swag and all this other stuff. You've got Ed Foley traveling the whole state talking to kids. It's about effort. It's not about swag and everything like that. Just get out there and talk to these kids and make sure you're talking to them frequently.
Wait, Kyle, are you saying that you don't need Louis and Lambos to recruit good
Shit.
players?
It's a thought.
just Indians in the kitchen. That's what you need.
I will say, like, they're on the defensive side, I think, like, our outside of, like, you know, we've had some woes with linebackers over the last year and a half. But the secondary has been something that we've questioned.
It is, yeah. That was the other thing I was going to say is like,
Yeah.
Hopefully he's a good coach.
it's not like the secondary's exactly been gangbusters.
Yeah. So, well, I hope Evan Cooper, you know, still has a successful career. Maybe Butler is a welcome transition into something new.
Yeah. I hope that I'm sure Matt Rhule is going to be asked about it at Big Ten Media Days in a couple weeks. And I'll be interested to see what he says about it.
I'm just, the thing that encourages me is this thing wasn't allowed to fester, right? Like Matt Rhule acted as a fire extinguisher, if you will, put out the fire.
As what he did with Trev when Trev left. He was literally the biggest fire extinguisher in the state of Nebraska.
And
He's
so
like, I ain't going nowhere.
And it's like people asking, why did he resign? It's like, I also don't care. Like, whatever it is, it's probably, you know, not cool, right? It's like, what do I have to gain from knowing that? It's like, Billy Butler is here. It's like, I've moved on. Let's win some fucking games, please. Let's coach our guys on the field. Hey, guys in the locker room, I know you probably like Evan Cooper, okay? But he fucked up somehow. He did something.
Whatever.
Probably. But he's gone. So this Butler guy that the Bills players loved for 6 years, he was there for 6 years for a reason, because he was doing a damn good job.
Coaching all pros.
Be coachable like him, okay? And win some damn games. Don't get all in your feelings. Oh, I miss Coach Cooper. Win.
Can I go?
Please.
I haven't got to do this in a couple of weeks.
Oh, shit.
Can I go tinfoil hat here?
Conspiracy Connor.
Yeah, here it is. Conspiracy
Woo.
Connor. With the timeline between Cooper resigning and Butler's hiring, obviously, like, in my opinion, that's not a coincidence. Not even a little bit. Like, this was Matt Rhule knew ahead of time, but with how quickly it happened, does this prove that Matt Rhule is the most powerful man in the state of Nebraska? In my opinion, I think it does. Because this man, like, there were, what, was it 48 hours? Maybe?
It was less than 24, I think.
Yeah. So I gave too much time. I think Matt Rhule might be the most powerful man in Nebraska. I mean, you talk about making significant changes to a program like this, and Matt Rhule does it like that.
Well, you know,
It's not like that though. This stuff has been cooking,
but everything
Matt
was
Rhule,
set on a timeline.
Yes,
and he knew exactly how.
That's how he operates, though.
You know who I think is Matt Davidson, and Jason Peters and Christian Peters. They are all the most influential, powerful men in all of Nebraska.
All right. Well, on that, we'll let you guys think on that little conspiracy, and we're gonna go on.
Before we get to a break, to wrap up the Evan Cooper thing. Once a Husker, always a Husker. And we're going to break.
How would you say your mental focus is?
Oh, it's focused. I haven't, look.
Cash rules everything around me. Green, get the money. Dollar bill, yo. We have the saying, no block, no rock.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Troy. Kyle.
God, man, look, there's just a lot of freaking buttons over here. I'm struggling. I'm unmuting and pressing buttons, and I'm just saying.
I think as a left-leaning guy myself, there's a lot more Joe Biden clips you could use
than that one
if you really want to. Because holy shit. Anyway, you want to talk about
Look here, Jack.
You want to talk? Look.
Sound bites galore.
We don't have enough buttons on the board,
Yeah.
Jared.
Yeah.
Look, Mac. Look, fat. I've never had you. Just listen here. It's the facts, man.
I closed my eyes right there for
Hey.
a second.
You gotta give him that huck to it.
Isn't she like
Joe sounds very lively in that clip.
You gotta give him that. You know what I'm saying, man? Yeah, it's facts. Anyway,
Sports.
Sports.
Speaking of dumb shit,
Oh boy.
Terrence Knighton.
Oh man.
Oh, Jesus.
Listen, I'm gonna come at this from a different perspective.
Okay.
I think the mainstream perspective is Husker fans are annoying. Husker fans are trash. Husker fans are obsessed. Here's where I come down. You are a coach at Nebraska. You know that any little thing you do is going to incite reaction for better or worse, right? Whether it's for stupid reasons or for legit reasons. Why are we like deleting shit from our bio and like, why are we doing that shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
why?
pretty cryptic.
You know what I mean? Like, are you looking for attention? Most people that do that shit do it because they're in a prominent position and they know that people are going to start talking about them. And maybe it was all a coordinated thing. Maybe it was for recruiting or something. It's just, I come down as, you know, some shit's going to happen. Why are you doing that? Why are you deleting shit from your bio? Why are you deleting Husker shit?
So I'm going to go less conspiracy Connor than I normally would on this one. My thought is something did legitimately occur.
Tinfoil hat.
No, I don't think this is that tinfoil. I think something legitimately occurred. And Terrence Knighton thought, you know, maybe there are greener pastures. And they had a talk within the administration. My guess is Matt Rhule, the most powerful man in Nebraska, came through and had a talk with him about, let's figure out what we can do to help you be better and do better. And let's figure out what resources you're not getting. I don't think this was, you know, a cry for attention. I don't believe that. I think there was maybe what elapsed like 4, maybe 6 hours before things started going back to normal. I don't think it was a bluff because it goes back to the Commanders. I wasn't Commanders at the time, but goes back to that profile picture, removes CEO of Death Row from his bio.
Yeah.
Starts removing all, you know, affiliation with the University of Nebraska.
Other than the retweets with the commits and stuff.
Sure.
That was still there. But
Sure, but like you mentioned, like, is this a recruiting thing? I don't see how this could be a benefit for recruiting.
no, and I
because-
was being facetious when I said
yeah,
that.
I would say this like only adds into like it adds uncertainty. So I don't see that being the case.
And like by the time Knighton did that, it was the Butler hire was already made. Okay, so
Well, that's still not made.
yeah,
you know.
you're right. You're right. It still has not been made.
It's a soft agreement.
Like I said before, like a half hour ago, I have been used and abused. Usually, when one crappy thing happens, another crappy thing happens. Not soon after, or pretty soon after, I should say. And so, excuse me for being like, "Yo, what is going on?
What the fuck?
Like,
I don't think you're
why?
alone
I mean,
then.
why are we seriously? Let's take a trip down memory lane real quick, okay? We just had our athletic director leave for Texas fucking A&M.
Boom,
Boom. Then our
Yeah.
DB coach
resigns.
out of the blue.
Yeah.
Whoa. Then they hire an experienced coach to replace said DB coach. Then all of a sudden, we get cryptic on Twitter. We take our Facebook profile or Twitter profile picture off. We take off the CEO thing, start deleting tweets and stuff. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. Again, sorry for being like,
Even
what
if you
the
were,
fuck?
even if you were trying to show something, like, I thought you were coaching college athletes, not acting like a fucking college athlete.
Yeah,
seriously,
it's not the way to do it.
You're acting like those high school recruits that commit and decommit and commit and decommit. Just act like an adult.
And
right.
I don't even care if something's happening on behind scenes or whatever. If you aren't Coop resigning from Nebraska, do not change your profile picture of you coaching at Nebraska.
Yeah, it's
not that hard.
It's very interesting, right? Because it's like I am Timmer. I do trust in Matt Rhule.
Yep.
There's going to be things that happen under this regime where it's like not good things, and we have to continue keeping the faith. Like until we are given evidence otherwise, right? We do trust. But there are things that can happen that can break that trust. And so, I don't know. Listen, they did not go to a bowl game last year, guys. I don't know if you guys know this. And I know they got the number one quarterback.
I'm just saying. Bowl game the year prior, though, right?
Stop. All I am saying.
The year prior? Or the prior? Or the prior? Or the prior?
Did you say that 7 more times?
Yeah, I'm going to keep going.
All I am saying is, although I do Timmer, I do trust in Matt Rhule, I'm not like just blindly accepting and following Matt Rhule for everything he does.
I would
follow
what I mean?
him
into hell.
And listen, hopefully you don't burn. Hopefully you don't.
Back to what we said about Coop, though. Like, we talked about his resume isn't that great. Matt Rhule groomed him, blah, 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 right? Yeah. You could say the same thing about Terrence Knighton.
Well,
probably underwhelming resume.
He coached at Wagner.
Yes.
Before Nebraska. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Underwhelming resume. So this is another guy that is a Matt Rhule guy that he's taking a chance on.
I think maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, that the point you're making is like, if this was a power play, changing the profile picture and the bio and stuff like that, not the gosh darn time.
It's immature.
Not the time.
Right. The timing of it was just like, oh, what now?
Why?
What?
I think actually when the Knighton rumors started swirling and the Twitter sphere is, changing on Knighton's profile, I think I received 4 straight texts from Jared, and we all did, that the only word was stop.
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 Stop it.
I think that was 4 straight
Just stop.
texts. Like, again, when shit starts rolling, it just goes downhill. Luckily, it would seem, at least for the time being,
it stopped.
It has stopped rolling.
And for the people that want to talk shit on Nebraska fans, or fellow Nebraska fans that want to talk shit on other Nebraska fans about,
we're going to absolutely murder you.
Yeah.
I love that joke.
Good timing. For the people, for fellow Husker fans that want to talk shit and be like, stop, this is why people they think we're crazy. It's like, for all like prospective Nebraska coaches out there, if this were to happen at any place, let's just say Alabama, let's say Ohio State, is Nebraska on the same level as them on the field? No. But their fans give a shit. Imagine if, damn it, and excuse me for not naming a very good Ohio State coach. What if they pulled some shit like this?
What if Chip Kelly changed all of his profiles?
What if Chip Kelly did some? What if Chip Kelly? Shut up. You know what I mean? If Chip Kelly was like on Twitter and stuff, and he changed things to not Ohio State, how would Buckeye fans react to that?
They'd lose their mind.
How would they? Come on. Any place that gives a shit about football like we do, I just feel like we give a shit just like these other programs do. And it's like us that we're labeled as the crazy people that should be in straitjackets. We're just like any other fan base that cares about their football.
I think that's a really fair comparison. Again, not comparing talent, but comparing fan bases. Nebraska is elite in its fan base. And with that territory comes the craziness. And that's fair.
That's what makes our fan base great. That's what makes any fan base great.
Absolutely.
But those other fan bases that you listed, none of those fucking fan bases would show up when they're 4-8. None of those fan bases would show up when they're 3-9.
Yeah, but none of them have been.
Yeah, we are crazy.
Right.
Yeah, we're nuts.
We're fucking crazy. And Terrence Knight knows that. So you can't do shit like that.
I will say there is one fan base that should be put in straitjackets.
Oh, boy.
Texas A&M. Fuck you, Trev. Sorry, that's my only one.
Yeah,
I
can't disagree with
Kyle. You've been quiet over there. What are your thoughts about the Terrence Knight thing?
Okay, so my first reaction to everything that was going on was you could have painted me the picture that the university didn't want to be associated to anything known as death row. That was the first thing that came to my mind, simply for the fact that we do this podcast and not everything that, you say to your buddies or whatever, maybe that doesn't come across as well in the public eye. And the university could look at death row and just be like, hey man, is maybe there another name that we could pick? And so they take it down and nobody's the wiser, right? Like, we'll figure it out. That was my first reaction. But now it's back on his Twitter. So it's not like he went back to the university and was like, but people are freaking out.
He doubled down on it too, though. He put that GIF out there too. That was like, if you don't know nothing about death row, then whatever.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a power play. We can sit here and guess all day.
Yeah.
And we'll never know the answer, but you're right. I mean, there was a comment in here, and it was from Spencer Olson. He said, "Are we as Husker fans the best fans in the country because we're obsessed with it?" And then you look at this Terrence Knighton situation and how freaked out everybody was, especially with the timing. I understand all that.
Right. The reason that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the key.
Yeah, I do think that like we just freaked out. Somebody in here also commented, like, didn't the Twitter kid start the Knighton rumor? And I don't know what Twitter kid Landrew's talking about, but
Jared.
What?
No.
You're not Twitter kid?
No, there was like a account out there that was tweeting about these rumors or whatever.
Oh boy.
But once again,
so
know your role, know who you are. That's some fucking immature bullshit. Just
well, I want to double down on what Kyle said. With you said you could paint a picture for the removal of the bio, and maybe the university just isn't comfortable with that phrasing. Did it get more concerning for you when the profile picture changed? Because that didn't happen at the same time.
Yeah. So once that happened, my thought process behind like the censorship by the university was kind of short-lived, especially when he removed his profile picture and it wasn't him coaching anymore. It just looked it was just odd.
Well,
the
it's
whole
just
thing was
cartoon of him too. So it's like, why are you removing a cartoon of you being a coach? Because you've really never been a coach anywhere else. So like, that's really the only thing you got.
You have a grainy ass picture of you in a Redskins uniform, and that's what you went for with your profile picture,
right?
Come on, man.
I'm fairly certain that my Twitter profile picture is me holding a camera. My bio says talker for NBNR, and I work for Hurrdat Sports. And like, if I were just to delete the picture of me and it's just a little avatar thing, like, I'm sure people would, at least who I work with, would be like,
so Kyle, are you leaving?
Are you leaving? I will say this. I got second place in our company ping pong tournament, and I felt like I could never show my face there ever again. And I told everybody I was putting in my 2 weeks. So everybody would probably just be like, is everything good?
Right.
Yeah.
So just imagine that's at Hurrdat.
Right.
And
times it by a million.
And you're a defensive line coach at the University of Nebraska.
I'll
blue blood school.
I'll tell you, Kyle, if you ever remove the what'd you say, talker at NBNR?
Yeah, it says like professional talker for NBNR.
Yeah, you remove that from your bio, and I'm gonna blow your phone up.
Oh, is that what you're gonna? Okay.
What are we?
Yeah.
What are we anymore?
Yeah, who's gonna press the buttons?
I don't know.
So,
dude, you've got like 40 buttons over there. I can't manage that shit.
The point I want to just make, and maybe this can be the last thing, is I've been used. I've been abused. Someone's hand, the program that's been hurting me went like this. And I went, because you hit me before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kept you in check.
So sorry if I flinched a little, because the program that I've loved, that's raised a hand to me a few times, went like this. And I went, please, no, not again. Please don't hurt me again. Why are you hurting me? I love you.
He tried.
So sorry. Forgive me for being a little scared for a second. And I didn't even tweet about it. or anything. I just said in the group chat, stop.
And I said, I'm so fucking tired.
Tired of this shit.
And I just kept feeding more into the group chat. I'm like, this shit is nuts.
Stop.
Hey guys, it's back.
I think the part that hit me the most was when Kyle said, I'm so tired.
And you know what?
I was like, dude, I think we all are.
And you know what this program is saying? You ain't gonna leave.
No.
You can't leave.
They know we won't.
Even if you want to leave, you can't leave. You love me too much. Please, God, no. I was scared for a second.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
That's all.
I care. What are we at?
An hour even.
Okay. So maybe 10, 15 more minutes more.
Yeah.
Okay, we have not talked about the Rhule interview with Joel Klatt.
Oh yeah.
And I'll just read what he said. You give me your reaction. Okay? Because if we know anything about Matt Rhule, he is confident. Let me put in my password here.
We're going to absolutely murder you.
Confident.
I think we have a pretty good team. I have a quiet confidence about where we are headed.
Is that Matt Rhule?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I think you just read it.
Is it this year? I think it is. Is it next year? Definitely. What do we think?
Give it to Kyle.
What do we think, guys?
I feel like you're taking a small quote of what the whole conversation. I think if you listen to Matt Rhule, the entire conversation with Joel Klatt, he is talking about how excited he is for this year. And he thinks that we're going to win a lot of football games. I think he reiterated that multiple times through the interview. So I think looking at that little thing, going back to putting the hand up, I think that would make me feel a little sad. Like, oh, I have to wait till next year to make a bowl game.
Is it this year? Is it next year?
But just listening to that interview in general, I think Matt Rhule had like an extra pep in his step. I think he let his guard down a little bit with Joel Klatt because when he talked quarterbacks and they brought up Dylan Rhule, that was the first time that he really went into talking about Dylan as the guy. Kind of. He didn't bring up the other quarterbacks like he always does. He always brings up the other guys. And this is the one time where I think he just felt comfortable and he let his guard down a little bit. I bet in a couple of weeks at Big Ten Media Days, I'm sure he will be back. Guard will be up talking about, he's got a lot of good quarterbacks to be the quarterback this year, all that stuff. But I just feel like Matt was very excited about what he thinks his team can do this year. And that's what I take away from that little snippet of the whole entire thing.
Sure.
Yeah. Mike, I think you nailed that. For me, listening to that interview with Joel Klatt, it certainly felt like Matt Rhule is in a position where he's no dummy. We've brought it up on this podcast before, and he talked about Dylan Rhule elevating the play of others. Mm-hmm. If you just had 5% better quarterback play last year, you're going bowling. Looking at 7 wins. You just needed 5% better. And I just don't think he's just no dummy, right? Joel Klatt's hyping him up. He's saying, I really like your team. I really like where it's headed, all this other stuff. And Matt Rhule finally is just like, yeah, man, I like it too. Because he knows the weakest link is, albeit a freshman from last year. He's got a freshman quarterback this year. And I just think he understands that it's just going to be better overall quarterback play. And that should lead to many more wins.
Few more
wins. More wins.
A handful.
Yeah.
Keep that thing in your pants there.
All of the wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think in any way that the statement is like a denigration of the roster that we have this year. I think Matt Rhule sees it a lot better than we do. He's super excited about it. I think he believes and probably knows that as these young guys develop, the team's only going to get better and better. I do like, Mike, you brought up that he really talked about Dylan Rhule as if he was in his own class. And it's something that we've said for weeks, maybe months, that you are naive to think that this is not the guy.
How about this? You're an idiot
I mean, he even referred to him like he kept reiterating best player, like one of your best players playing quarterback. Like one of your best players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That same quarterback that played last year is on the roster, and he wasn't referring to him as the best player. I'm just throwing it out there.
So when he says if it's not this year, it's next year, I don't think that is in reference to a bowl game.
No, I think he's thinking big picture, college football playoff type
I
stuff.
think I think he's talking, competing for a Big Ten title or competing for a playoff spot. That may not happen this year. I don't think we should be sitting here expecting you can be hopeful. I won't tell you to not be hopeful, but I think what Matt Rhule is saying is if not this year, next year. I think that's what he's talking about is that larger picture.
The big step.
Yeah, the big step. If it doesn't happen this year, it will. So I think Matt Rhule is very calculated in what he says. I think that's pretty fair to say. I feel like he has been the entire time.
Right.
So in that sense, I think he's referring to the big step, like you said, Mike.
So if Nebraska doesn't make the playoff next year,
I just want to see progress, Jared.
I'm not saying
if we make a bowl game this year, I'm gonna go kiss Matt Rhule on the fucking lips.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And then guess what? If next year we win one more game than that, I'm gonna kiss him on the lips again.
And
because that's the steps I want to see.
I thought he would go like a step further. Like, what's above a kiss?
Mike's a big Timmer.
I'm gonna get a tattoo of Timmer on my chest.
The playoff conversation I want to address really quickly.
Oh boy.
I understand that the playoffs are expanding. I think everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
I will point out it's still 12 teams.
Yeah.
You still have to be incredible to get in there. So for the people that are thinking, like, I understand people want to talk about how we could be 7-0 going into Ohio State. There's a lot more games. Like, there are 12 games in a season. You got to be a top 12 team or a conference champion. You run that math however you will. Just being good is not good enough. You have to be great. So I think that's what Matt Rhule is saying. Is like, we might not be great this year, but there's really good potential for the following. So the program's trending in the right direction, and I like that Matt Rhule is not saying some shit like, "Oh, the new look Big Ten's going to have to adjust to us."
Oh, good.
I'm glad he's not saying some shit like that. And he's like, we're developing at our own pace, and we're getting there, and we will be there, but it just might not be right now.
He did say he wants to be a
Great success.
There it is.
Oh, hold on a second, not yet. He said he wants to be a team that nobody wants to play, which is admirable.
There's two routes
but
to that, though.
The only way that happens is you have to run the option on offense. Nobody wants to face the option. Come on. Just getting your head bashed in every play. Boom, boom, boom.
You can still bash heads in without the option.
I'm just Dylan Raiola. Zero pass attempts. Just running the option with Dylan Raiola.
There are two ways to become a team nobody wants to play, though. There is the, hopefully, Matt Rhule way, where you are a hard-nosed team and you're going to take them to the woodshed every time you see them. There's also the former head coach, Scott way, where you're so bad that their RP, like, you're just going to drag down their RPI and they don't want to play you.
They don't want to play you
because you're going to ruin their chances at a playoff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he was referring to his own method.
Yeah. BA says, yes, Connor, but the chances of Nebraska making a 12-team playoff are way higher than a 4-team playoff. That's math. LOL.
That's good math.
Listen,
he's not wrong.
Dude,
I'm still saying it's not in any way guaranteed. You still have to be a top 12 team.
Ben Audi.
Big brain Ben.
Big brain Ben. If Bo was still here, Bo would be making a whole lot of college football playoffs.
Hey,
yeah, but then losing 40-10 in those.
I'm going to give a follow-up question. When was the last time, I actually know this, when was the last time Nebraska was ranked in the top 12?
In the top 12? Well,
top 12.
They were under Riley.
2016.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
It's a long
8 years.
in a
8
galaxy.
years.
In a galaxy far,
It'll be 9.
far away.
It'll be 9 by the time those
do you have
playoffs
more
come
quotes?
around.
Do you have more quotes?
So let's not get excited about how it's easier with 12 teams. Yeah, we
No,
still
that's just
can't
the
make
one.
that right now.
Yeah. Were there any more? Oh, well, I mean, Coach Rhule did talk about us as a fan base, how we do deserve better. We show up to, well, not really us necessarily, but there's a lot of people that show up to warm-ups. All those losers.
Could you imagine a coach?
Sorry, Ben. No, just
like I love that Rhule is saying that as a fan base we deserve better. But can you imagine a coach looking around me like, yeah, these guys fucking suck.
Yeah.
they don't deserve this.
Well, no, it's so being the skeptic cynic that I am when he says, is next year the year? Definitely. Like when he says that, yeah, I'm like, shit, dude, like, don't be, why are you saying this stuff? You know what I mean?
He's
On
giving
one
you a little
hand,
tickle.
on one hand, I appreciate that you have confidence. Oh my God, please have confidence. Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're also doing this to me. And I'm going, no. Matt, no. I'm just saying.
Okay, but
because we use. Listen, if I'm being fair, I have to be fair here, Kyle, and I will let you talk after I say this. If we are being fair, the previous coach that we loved said things that at the time we said, "Fuck yeah, Scott, woo!"
I thought you were talking about Bo.
Love you, Scott. Scott's the goal. Like I'm just saying. Bottom line, guys. Bottom line. Bottom line. What was their record last year? Bottom line.
5-7.
I'm just saying.
And they had a chance to make a bowl game. 5 games to make a bowl game.
You blew the last 4 games. Okay. That's the past, right? That's still in my mind. Listen, I'm just being fair. I'm Timmer. I'm just being fair.
I like it.
I have to see it.
Listen, Matt Rhule saying, I want to be a team that nobody wants to play.
Yeah.
It's, do you want to play Michigan? Do you want to play Ohio State?
No.
Do you want to play Alabama?
No.
He
no.
He wants to be that team that nobody wants to play. You can shit in one hand and wish in the other and see which one fills up faster. It's ultimately just saying, like, I want to be that. Like, I want to be at the top. I want everybody to be afraid when they see us on their schedule. That's ultimately all I got.
And I appreciate that sentiment.
So
I really do, because absolutely. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? What's the alternative?
I was going to ask Kyle, but I'm actually going to ask all of you. When you talk about, you want to be the Michigan, the Ohio State, the Alabama, can you name a single D1 football coach that doesn't want to be that?
Yeah, every university is trying to get to that. That's the standard.
Kirk Ferentz.
I'm going to quote Jared.
No, he ain't trying to do that. He's trying to be Iowa. That's it. He wants to be Iowa, and he's good at it.
Yeah.
Hey, to be fair, there's a lot of teams that don't want to play Iowa
I'm going to quote Jared here.
because they're fucking boring.
Do my best. Tell me if I get the tone right.
Okay.
Show me.
Yeah.
Show me. You want to be that
More
guy?
manly.
You want to be that guy? Show me.
Again, appreciate the confidence. I love it.
Yeah.
I would rather you go out there and have confidence that you can do your job rather than being meek and afraid. Just win.
So
that's all. Just win.
Turning the page really quick, because we don't have much time. You mentioned 53. I'm going to say 54 days until we kick off against UTEP.
Ola
Okay?
Daganduro, baby.
Okay. And Dominic Raiola, who played on the Poly Pipeline with our good friend Tony Finotti over there.
What was that accent?
I don't know.
The Poly Pipeline.
Yeah, great success.
The Poly's in the kitchen.
We did get a couple Poly commits.
We did.
Like,
yeah.
Is this the start of something new? Is this the start of like some good things to happen?
I mean, I want to say yes.
Like, is Donnie showing what he can do?
Yeah. Based off what I've seen. Yeah, I'm encouraged by that part.
Can I play the heel here? As we talk about, maybe the potential revival of the Poly Pipeline, I want to talk about a movement that people were very excited about, 6-7 years ago that was called Calabrasca.
Oh,
How did that work out?
Okay, but
So while they're committed now, until they are
signed
in Lincoln,
yeah.
But we do have a couple in Lincoln right now.
I understand.
His name
that.
is Dylan Raiola,
Yeah, that's one.
and then we have his uncle is a coach there. His name is Donnie
Raiola.
Raiola,
And we have Preston Taumua.
Counts.
and Preston Taumua.
Taumua's gonna be great.
God, that's a mess.
But again, I'm excited just as much as you are.
Oh yeah.
But we were all excited with the Calabrasca movement.
Mm-hmm.
It did not come to fruition. So
You know why though? Because Mike Riley wasn't Californian. That's why. That's the only reason why.
Matt Rhule is
a
not
Nebraska.
Polynesian.
But Donnie is. That's my point.
Hey, that's the key.
That's the key. That's the guy that's recruiting these guys.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm just saying, don't put your house up for collateral on all these guys coming here.
And the quarterback that they won a block for is Poly too.
Yeah.
So there's a pipeline.
Pipeline straight to.
How am I being
Now-
the reserved one here? That's not normal.
Build back better.
Oh no.
Build the line. The Poly pipeline.
I'm down.
Yes, because if there's anything that we know about polys, and yes,
I want a cracker.
I am a white guy. I am a white guy saying this, and we had Tony Uffinoti on a few months ago. Their tenacity and the way they go about things. I know I'm casting a wide net and I'm throwing a blanket all over all the polys, but y'all work hard. Y'all want to freaking kill your opponent. And I like that about you.
What did Tony say? I finished.
I get him on the ground.
And then I tell him, get back up. Let's do it again.
Fuck up.
Am I
Or stay
allowed
down.
to say, like, as the Poly pipeline is developing, and
Choo
I come
choo, motherfucker.
to play for Matt Rhule, a white man, can we use Poly want a cracker as a recruiting statement?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? It's just it's out there. You can have it if you want.
Like there's a joke in my mind, but I'm not gonna say it.
No, I did
It's right there.
That's
okay.
Like you say cracker, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
we
go
get it.
crazy.
Yeah, I think we
I
should
go
probably
crazy
leave it.
in my
I think
mind.
we should probably leave it there.
Okay. We talk about Evan Cooper, once a Husker, right? Forever. Terrence Knighton, still a Husker.
At least
He's
for
still
now.
here.
At least for now.
At least on Twitter.
Okay, let's play this scenario. If Terrence Knighton were to leave,
Yo.
do you think Matt Rhule would go hire another guy like Mr. John? Do you think they go hire another guy that's just more qualified than him?
His name is so generic. He calls him Mr. John.
Mr. John Butler.
Well, so are you talking an experienced guy that wants to be a defensive coordinator?
I think that he would go hire a guy that's just more qualified than the guy that coached
Oh, shit.
What college did you say?
Hey, some people would say that Mr. Butler is more qualified than Mr. Cooper. Some people would say that.
I think a lot of people would say
And
that actually.
how could you disagree based off the track record? Did Nebraska make a step up? I know we are trying to close the episode.
Sorry, Kyle.
Did Nebraska make a step up? I don't know.
I think we leave that to the listeners. You've got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can comment.
2 polls.
Yeah.
Is Evan Cooper once a Husker, is always a Husker? And number 2, did Nebraska make an upgrade going from Evan Cooper to Mr. Butler?
Mr. Butler.
Mr. John.
Mr.
Mr. John.
Mr. John. Mr.
One.
Polly want a cracker. Polly want a
I think
Butler.
that's a good phrase for recruiting.
How many people we got on there?
157, unfortunately.
There were 300 before I made the Polly want a cracker joke.
All right. Do we have any comments or anything before we want to close out?
What's Ben Audi saying?
Ben says, had a college coach tell me to my face, said he needs more Polynesians when he was recruiting one of my players last season.
Yeah, he was smart.
Yeah.
Well, if you had more crackers,
we've kind of been talking about them as they come along. So no,
That's good.
we're good.
Hey, all you people out there, go to NBNRPodcast.com. We have merch that you can buy. We have cool Rhule 24 shirts if you are so politically inclined. Do you like politics? Do you like football?
Dude, I'd vote for Matt Rhule right now, honestly.
Even if you don't know a lick about politics, which is most of you, go buy that shirt. Mike's like, no, God, don't say that. We're a football pod.
We are.
Rhule 24. Write it in on your ballot this November. We are on Spotify. We are on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. All the same handle, NBNR Podcast. Go give us a follow. 5-star review. Please, we need it. So the rest of the country, the rest of the Husker fans out there can listen to our freaking rants about dumb shit.
Like Ritz crackers.
Check out the forum.
Listen, Paulie want a cracker? You got 4 of them right here.
Yeah. Check out the forum.
Yeah, check out the forum. And make sure you check out Red Zone Reflections by our friend in the program, Coach BA. He's writing some really good stuff out there.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I've been reading like every post. Coach BA, I'm sure you're watching right now. You're doing great stuff.
He gets it in.
You're doing great stuff.
Yes.
So definitely go check that out. It is free to register on the website. It's free to be a part of the forum. Have fun. Like we want to have every discussion that we can. I mean, it's what we do here. It's as a fan, it's what you want to do.
And it's free to subscribe and follow us on all social platforms. So if you're sitting on here watching us right now, go to YouTube and hit subscribe. That would be awesome.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Okay, guys, what do you say we sign off?
Let's do it.
Get out of here before we say something. Actually, I think we've said enough, right?
I already said Paul, I want a cracker. So
I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Connor Cavalack.
Kyle Byers.
As always, beat you, Tep, and GBR.